Hi, I'm Jeff. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to FreeCAD's TechDraw Workbench. I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I use it to produce plans for my projects. Stick around. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to create a drawing. In each case, I'll use the same component so you can compare the different techniques. I'm using FreeCAD version 0.18.4 on Linux for the demonstration. First up, we'll dimension a view of the component. I've opened up an example draw side that I created for a previous video. I have the model in top view, which shows the draw side in a vertical position. Switching to the TechDraw Workbench allows us to start creating a technical drawing. First thing we're going to do is create a new drawing page using my default A4 template. This template is based on the standard FreeCAD templates, and I have modified it slightly to suit my needs. I create the drawing by clicking on the Insert New Default Page tool, and this pulls up my template. I'll start by selecting the draw slide in the combo view, and then click the Insert View in Page tool to place it in the page. The draw side is placed in the same orientation as the main view. As you can see, it is full size, so I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit. What I do is I click on the component, and then in the combo view I just change the scale down to be 0.75, which makes it just a little bit smaller, and then refresh the screen. This isn't the orientation that I want, so I'll rotate it. So again, I click on the component, come across the combo view and find the rotation property and change that to -90, and then refresh the view and it is rotated the way I want it. You can drag the draw side around by simply clicking on it and dragging it around, or you can set the X and Y coordinates in the combo view. Now we'll start dimensioning the drawing. I'll start by dimensioning the right hand edge. So select the edge and then select the inserted vertical distance dimension. To move it out, I just click on the dimension and drag it where I want it. I'll then do the same for the shorter side of the draw side, but use a horizontal dimension. I'm just going to move it down a little bit for a little bit more room above. And I'm going to do the same thing for the entire length, but in this case I have to click on the 2 points representing the endpoints. Come back and select horizontal dimension and then just move it into position. Okay, so I'm going to also dimension the outside lengths of the pins. Sorry, the tails, not the pins. With the TechDraw Workbench, sometimes you'll be able to select a whole length, and sometimes you'll have to do it by clicking on the points. The tools themselves work either way. The last thing we're going to do is dimension the dovetail angle. We'll just use one of the half pins for that. So we select the two sides and then select the angle. In this case, you can see that it's gone around the outside, which is not really what I want. So I grab the dimension, drag it across the other way until I get it to the position I want, let it go, and it resets. The title block of this drawing has several green squares, and these squares are editable fields. You edit them by clicking on the green square, which brings up the dialog box, and you can put in the title. So first thing I'm going to do is change the drawing title, and in this case I'm going to change it to TechDraw Tutorial Drawing number 1. I'm going to change the author name to mine, and I'm going to do the date to be today's date, which is the 12th of January 2020. You can add annotations to your drawing as well, and the reason you'd want to do that is to put information on here that is not on there already. Around the outside of every item you put in the drawing, you'll see a dashed line with some text. If I scroll on it, in my view it goes yellow, and this is just the frame of that item. The frames do not appear in the printout. So if I go to File, Print Preview and go full screen, you'll see that there is nothing on here to say that this is a draw side other than whatever I'd put in the title block. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an annotation. So we come up to the Add Annotation tool, and you'll see that it's added the annotation. The annotation's got its frame, and there's also some default text in there. What we're going to do is we're going to change that, and we come across to the combo view, and you'll see at the top is default text. Click once and that brings up the ellipsis menu. Click again and it allows you to change the text. So I'm just going to put this text as example draw side, and if you want you could put multiple rows of text. Tutorial, and obviously it's pretty big, so I'm going to reduce the size of the text in the text size property. I'm not going to worry about changing the font or the color or anything like that. The annotation can be moved around like any other item in the drawing. Move it to wherever you want, and as I said before, the frame doesn't appear when it's printed, and you can see this through Print Preview as I've done before. Or if you click on the Turn View Frames Off and On toggle, they'll go away as well, showing you exactly what you're going to get in the Print Preview. I normally leave these on until I'm ready to print, so I can see what I've got in there, what frames there are, that sort of thing, where there might be overlaps. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a multiple view of the component. So we'll create another A4 drawing. Now I'm going to show you how to insert multiple views of the same part into a page. First, I'm going to rotate the model view 90 degrees to the left so that I get the body of the draw side in the correct orientation. Next, I'm going to create a new page from my default template, and then I'm going to insert that part into the page. Now, because there are multiple pages, I need to select the part that I want to insert, and holding down the Control key, I also need to select the page that I want to insert it into. Then I'm going to use the Insert Multiple Linked Views tool to insert it. I normally set the projection to be third angle and the scale to be automatic, because I find for me that gives the best results, but your mileage may vary on that. Down the bottom you will see that there are 10 toggles, and these turn on different views of the part. But before they do that, I found that you need to zoom out a little bit, because when it displays the parts, they are outside your view. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'll turn on the left side. In fact, why don't I turn a lot? So we'll turn them all on so you can see what's there. You can see some of them aren't showing up because they're outside the window, and if I scroll out, you'll see them all come in. So we've got the front from the top left, we've got it from the top, we've got the front from the top right, we've got the rear, we've got the right, we've got the bottom right, so it's front from the bottom right, we've got the view from the bottom, we've got the view from the bottom left, and we've got the left. I generally limit my views to being left or right, top or bottom, or the initial view, which is the one in the middle. So in this case, I'm going to turn off everything but the left and the top view. I'm then going to say OK to insert it, and then I'm going to refresh the drawing, which rescales it and sort of brings it a bit closer together, and then zoom in so I can actually work on it. Now if you click and drag on the front view, you can move all the views together. if you click and drag on the left view, it only moves left and right, you can't move it up and down. Similarly, if you click on the top view, it can only move up and down, it cannot move left and right. The additional views, in this case left and top, are not locked relative to the position of the front view. So what I normally do is lock the positions, because I've found that from time to time when you refresh the view, it will move those parts. So click on the part, we come across the combo view and change the lock position property to true. Now that's set, I cannot move the left and right, but when I move front, it moves relative to the front. I can still move the top though. So I'll do the same thing for the top, change lock position to true, and now I can't move that either. Refresh the view, they're not going to move. Now we can dimension the plan as we see fit. So again, we'll just put some vertical dimensions on. Do the full length. Now this is a plan where you really want to have annotations, because as I said, when you toggle off the frames, you may not recognize what you're looking at. So I'll turn them back on and then we'll add some annotations. And change the first one to be top view. Reduce the size down to 4 mil. Add another one that says front view. Reduce the size down to 4, move it into place. I'll add another one that says left view. Now when you toggle off the frames, you'll see that we have annotations that tell us which view we're looking at, and when we go to print preview, you'll see that they are there as well. So it's important that you do add annotations to help you when you print the diagrams out, otherwise you may not be able to tell what you're looking at later on. And you can also add more information if you want through an annotation, such as let's just say we're going to specify that the timber's Jarrah, the finish is wax, etc, etc. And again, they will come up when you print it. Third thing I'm going to show you is a detailed view. So we're going to insert the part into the view, and we're going to rotate it so that it is horizontal, and we're going to reduce the scale to 75%. Oops, that was too much. Went the wrong way. 75%, refresh it. Now a detailed view allows you to zoom in on a section of the part. So what you do is you select the part, and then you come up and you use the Insert Detail View tool to insert the view. And it's in two parts. You have the detail view itself, which is like any other item in the page. You can click and drag and move it. You can change the scale, and it gets, well, in this case, too big. I might make that 2.5. Refresh. Okay, drag that slightly over to the side. And the second part of it is that there is a dashed circle, which, if you like, is a representation of a magnifying glass, which shows the section of the part that is going to be displayed in the detail view. So to move the circle, you need to firstly click on the detail view item, and then in the combo view you need to come across to the anchor point and move it that way. So by changing the X and Y coordinates. So I'm going to move it to the left. In this case, the rotation is, I think this is a bug. The rotation is causing a few rotation issues. So in fact, it's not to the left I wanted to go. So we'll set that back to 0. Actually, the right I wanted to go. And this is where we might run into another problem. Oops, wrong way. Can be a little bit tedious doing this because you need to manually change the coordinates. Unfortunately, at this point you cannot click and drag. I note from the FreeCAD forums that this is an issue that's been identified, and I hope it will be resolved in the next version. Once you've moved the circle over the item you want to highlight, you'll see that it appears in the detail view. From there, you can dimension the parts like any other view. So in this case, we'll put an angle dimension on, and we will also put a depth dimension on. When we toggle the frames though, we don't know what we're looking at really. You can obviously see that it's the pin here, but if there were multiple pins and they were different sizes, you might get them confused. So to correct this, we toggle back on the frames, we select the view, and then we come across to the caption, and we put a caption in there that we wish. I'm going to use number 1 because that will then link it to the circle, and when I turn off the frames I can still have 1 and 1 and I can link them together. This is really important for when you insert multiple detail views, which I'll do now, because when you insert the view you'll notice the second one also comes up with a reference number 1. So we'll need to fix that as well. So the scale was 2.5. We'll set the caption to be 2. And then down the bottom of the combo view, you'll see the reference number, and we change that to 2 as well. Do a refresh, and you'll see that number 2 is changed on the circle. And now we can just move that one into position as well. So it was changing the Y coordinates to about 94, I think it was. Let's try that. That puts it pretty much over the top of the other one. And now we're going to bring it down to over the top of the half pin, and we can dimension this as well. The use of multiple views would be very, very handy for when you're doing, say, draw sides with houndstooth dovetails, where you have a dovetail of 2 different depths. Because then you could use one of the detail views to show the smaller dovetail pin, another to do the larger pin, and a third to do the half pins, like we've done here. So this has been a fairly high level introduction to it. I use the TechDraw Workbench in all my designs because I like to take out a plan of the components so that I can reference when I'm building them. I only have an A4 printer, so I do everything to fit within an A4 page, but FreeCAD has templates for all sorts of page sizes, and in a future video I'll show you how I modified this template to suit my needs. Well, I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please give us a like below, or a dislike if you didn't like it. If you have any comments or topic suggestions, please leave a comment below. And please consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell. That way you'll stay up to date with our videos. Thank you for watching.